Dear brothers and sisters, today I want us for a moment to set religion aside and try, through general observation and a few basic examples from science, to determine whether God exists or not. The very first and essential thing is that each one of us should, at some point, sit alone in solitude and reflect on this matter. Think deeply about it. Every person should think for himself. Who am I? Where did I come from? Where did my parents come from? Who created my parents? And is my role in this worldly life merely to eat, drink, pass time, and then die? Or is this worldly life meant for a purpose? And when I perform good deeds in this world, what is my motive? And when I avoid evil, why do I avoid it? What is the driving force behind it? Am I seeking a reward from someone by doing good deeds and avoiding evil? Am I trying to avoid someone's wrath? Is there a motive present behind all this, under which I am carrying out all these actions? Then the second thing is that we should think about the life into which we opened our eyes and how many established things we have observed within it. For example, oceans, clouds, mountains, rocks, trees, the animals of the world, and birds and beasts. All these highly established creations that we see are functioning with such perfect balance. Is all of this happening on its own, or is there some controlling authority? Is there some controlling agency that has kept all these things under control? Then, if at night I ever raise my gaze toward the sky and see how many stars there are in the heavens. During the day we see the sun. At night we see the moon and the stars. We see so many things, and we have been seeing them since childhood. And for centuries, our ancestors have been seeing all of this. All of these things are operating under an established system. Is this massive system, these enormous operations, happening by themselves? If we ever reflect on this, then today we have to search for the answer to this very question. Are all these matters happening on their own, or is there some supernatural authority, some supernatural agency, some supreme authority that is controlling these things? To understand this, let me first give you an example. Look, there are currently two major aircraft operating in the world. Number one is the Airbus A380, which has a capacity of approximately 555 passengers. The second is the Boeing 747, which has been operating since 1970 and carries around 400 passengers. Most of the transportation matters in the world are handled by these two large aircraft, and the Airbus A380 has also been launched. Now, if I were to make the statement that these two massive aircraft flying around the world are made by the tornadoes that occur in America, what we call tornadoes, powerful windstorms, and that the windstorms pick up garbage from trash heaps and assemble it into airplanes, then not even a foolish person would be ready to accept such a claim. Even if I were to make the statement about ballpoint pen that it came into existence by itself, not even a mad person would be ready to endorse what I am saying. So when we do not even have the slightest doubt about a small ballpoint pen, that it came into existence on its own, and as soon as we see it, the thought comes to our minds that it has a designer, that it has a maker, and that it was assembled under a complete scheme, and that it cannot be made by itself, when we do not even have such a doubt, and never will, then this vast universe and all the systems running within it, are they running on their own? This is something that punches our intellect, and God willing, directs us toward the truth. In today's era, the most reliable source of knowledge is science, and science itself has a definition. Pick up a dictionary and look it up. The knowledge acquired after observations and experiments is called science, and the knowledge obtained through science, which is established, leaves no room for doubt. Why? Because it is acquired through observations and experiments. For example, it is within everyone's experience that if you place your hand over fire, the fire burns the hand. This attribute of fire, to burn, has been established through experiments. We have no doubt about it. So in science as well, all the inventions and discoveries that have been made today, which have become established, we are not talking about those that are not yet established and are only hypotheses or theories. The established science is entirely based on these observations and experiments. And this is solid knowledge that humanity has established. People accept it. Among all human beings across the world, this is the only knowledge that everyone accepts. Whether someone is a disbeliever, a Muslim, a Hindu, a Sikh, a Christian, a Jew, whoever they may be, all of them accept this principle. So today, God willing, whatever things we will discuss here are all taken from the world's leading channels of scientific knowledge at present. Number 1, the National Geographic Channel, and number 2, the Discovery Channel, also American, where the latest scientific research and discoveries are presented. All of this data has not been written by Muslims. Rather, it has been established and disclosed by others after decades of hard work. So first, let us consider our universe. According to NASA's latest report, 250 billion galaxies have been discovered in our universe. 250 billion galaxies. And within each galaxy, there are more than 300 billion suns, stars. For example, our own galaxy, which scientists have named the Milky Way, the sun that we see is 1.3 million times larger than the Earth. And this sun is the smallest star in this galaxy. There are 300 billion such stars in our Milky Way. That makes one galaxy. Then there are another 250 billion such galaxies in the universe. And all of these galaxies, for the past 15 billion years, have been operating in perfect harmony. Everything is in motion, and during their movements, these galaxies pass through one another. Yet no star ever collides with another star. Everything in the universe has been moving in perfect balance for the past 15 billion years. Is such an enormous operation happening by itself? If we begin to think about whether something this vast could happen on its own, then let me say a little about the distances in the universe. And remember this as well. Scientists have stated that there are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on all the beaches of the world. The distances in the universe are so vast that measuring them in kilometers under normal conditions is beyond human capacity. That is why, to measure cosmic distances, the terminology of light years is used. A light year is the distance that light travels in 1 year. And light does not travel at the speed of a horse or an airplane. The speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. In 1 second, 186,000 miles, enough to circle the Earth completely. Light travels approximately 300,000 kilometers per second. So if light travels for 1 year, the distance it covers is about 9.5 trillion kilometers. 1 trillion equals 1,000 billion. So 9.5 trillion kilometers is 1 light year. Now, the nearest galaxy to Earth that has been discovered is 2 million light years away. So light must travel for 2 million years to reach the nearest galaxy. And there are another 250 billion such galaxies in the universe. Is this enormous created system operating by itself? Or is there some controlling authority present in the universe? This is what we need to emphasize. Then let us reflect on our own galaxy. In our Milky Way, the sun that we see, our Earth and all the other planets revolve around this sun. This is what we call the solar system. Our sun is 1.3 million times larger than the Earth, and inside this sun, every second, energy equivalent to 500 million atomic bombs is released. Every second. Then this sun, along with the entire solar system, has been traveling for the past 15 billion years toward a star called Vega. Not at the speed of a horse, not at the speed of an airplane, but at 200 kilometers per second. Every second, the sun and all the planets with it, including the Earth, travel 200 kilometers. In 2 seconds, 400. In 3, 600. In 4, 800. In 5, 1,000 kilometers. The sun and the entire solar system have covered such a vast distance over the past 15 billion years, traveling toward the star Vega, yet they still have not reached it. So is this sun and its entire system operating by itself? Is there a driver driving the sun? Is fuel being put into it? Does the sun have a father holding it by the ear and making it move? And this is just one sun, the smallest one. There are 300 billion suns like this in our galaxy, and then another 250 billion such galaxies in the universe. Then, as we continue our journey, we come to the most important planet in our solar system, the habitable planet, the Earth. Consider it. The Earth is an almost spherical ball with a diameter of approximately 40,000 kilometers. That means if we travel all the way around it and return to the same point, we cover 40,000 kilometers. 3 major motions of the Earth have been discovered so far. The first motion is that the Earth rotates around its axis, covering half a kilometer per second. Because of this, our day and night are completed within 24 hours, half a kilometer per second. The second motion is its orbit around the sun, and that motion is 30 kilometers per second, 30 kilometers in 1 second. Do we, sitting here, feel that the Earth is moving at such tremendous speed? Because of this speed, our year is completed in 365 days. And the third major motion is the one I mentioned earlier. The entire solar system, including the sun and all the planets, has been traveling for the past 15 billion years at a speed of 200 kilometers per second toward a star called Vega, yet has not reached it. These three major motions are enormous motions, all operating in perfect harmony. And despite these massive motions of the Earth, no beast, bird, human, or animal living on Earth ever feels that they are riding on such a dangerous vessel, one that rotates half a kilometer per second and simultaneously moves around the sun at 30 kilometers per second. 30 kilometers per second is 60 times the velocity of a bullet, and the entire solar system is moving at 200 kilometers per second. It is because of the immense gravitational forces in the universe that we do not feel any of this while living on Earth. Are these enormous operations happening by themselves? Can all the creatures of the sky and the earth together run this entire system? If all creation together cannot perform this task, then how can it happen by itself? Then consider the creatures on Earth. At present, more than 2 million species have been discovered on Earth. More than 2 million. Human beings are one species, horses another, donkeys another, monkeys another, lions another. If we count this way, there are 2 million species. And this is not the count of individual creatures. Just consider humans alone. More than 6 billion people inhabit the world. And then consider insects. There are so many insects in the world that if 200 million insects were allocated to every human being on Earth, they could be distributed among 6 billion humans. 200 million insects per person. That is how many insects exist. Is all of this operating by itself? At present, there is not even a single square inch on Earth where there is no living creature. Even your skin, when examined under a microscope, contains invisible bacteria that feed on your skin. In the stomach of an average human being, there are approximately 60,000 to 100,000 bacteria that help digest food. In a single cup of yogurt, there are as many bacteria as there are humans on Earth. 6 billion bacteria in 1 cup of yogurt. How is the sustenance of all these creatures being provided? And the sustenance of creatures is compatible. If you place the most beautiful grass in front of a lion, it will never eat it. Just as gasoline does not work in a diesel engine. If you place the finest meat in front of a goat, it will not even look at it. But the grass made for the goat is compatible with it. It eats it and digests it. Meat is compatible with the lion. It eats it and digests it. Is this perfectly balanced system operating by itself? Then consider the trees in the world. Their number alone is in the trillions, and the leaves on each tree number in the trillions as well. This is unbelievable data. If one were to start counting, a human could never finish. Is this entire system operating by itself? Then consider reproduction. There are many methods of reproduction among creatures, one of the dominant methods being the egg. Birds, for example, reproduce through eggs. Now reflect on an egg. When you break an egg, a sticky substance comes out. A person is left bewildered, thinking, there is nothing inside this egg from which such a beautiful, colorful baby chicken could emerge. And many birds have multiple colors. A person goes mad. There is nothing in that sticky substance from which a hard beak could form, yet it forms into a beautiful, aerodynamic structure. Then eyes are formed. Not just eyes, but lenses behind the eyes, and vision behind the lenses. There is nothing in that sticky substance from which a lens could form. Are these massive processes happening by themselves? All the creatures of the sky and the earth together cannot make a single egg in an hour. And every day in the world, trillions of eggs hatch. Baby chicken emerge. Along with them, ants emerge. Tiny mosquitoes emerge. Just consider a dragonfly. The dragonfly also emerges from an egg. In one eye of a dragonfly, there are 25,000 tiny micro eyes. That means a fly has 50,000 eyes. Can such a complex structure emerge from an egg? All the creatures of the sky and the earth together cannot make a single dragonfly. So if all creation together cannot do it, how can it happen by itself? Reflect on this. The only answer is that there is some controlling authority, some supreme agency, some supreme being who has control over all these things. Then consider a seed, a completely insignificant seed, something that looks trivial. We plant it in the ground, and it grows 6 to 10 billion times larger than its original size, becoming a massive tree. There are trees in the world that grow over 100 feet tall, all emerging from a single seed. A seed contains more data than all the books ever written in human history. No hard drive in the world can store as much data as exists within a seed. Inside a seed is the data of how thick the trunk will be, how many leaves will grow, what color the leaves will be, what fruit will grow, what color the fruit will be, what it will taste like, what its fragrance will be, how pollen will spread, and how many more trees will grow from it. All of this data exists inside a single seed. All the creatures of the heavens and the earth together cannot create such a seed that, when planted deep in the ground, produces such a massive tree. A person goes mad looking at the construction of a seed. Is this highly complex system, the seed, forming by itself? If all creation together cannot do this, then how can it happen by itself? Reflect on it. Strike your mind with it. We have never reflected on how these massive processes are occurring. Then consider the system of leaves. A single leaf is an entire factory. It is a factory that converts solar energy into food through photosynthesis. The leaf produces its own food. Does the leaf have a father teaching it how to make its food? A tree has anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 leaves, and each leaf derives its food from sunlight. This is happening on its own. Then there is no motor pump attached to a tree, yet water reaches the leaves at the top of trees over 100 feet tall. Is there a pump installed? There is a system of capillaries. This system is so complex that water uses surface tension to travel upward. Is this happening by itself? If all the creatures of the sky and the earth together cannot do this, how can it happen by itself? There is a controlling authority running it. If all the creatures of the sky and the earth together wanted to create a single leaf or its material, hold a beautiful green leaf in your hand. When a person touches it, he becomes bewildered. How did this material come out of soil? There is nothing like this in soil. And then such a beautiful flower emerges. Reflect on a rose, on its color. A person goes mad. This color, emerging from soil, from something so insignificant, such a beautiful flower with so many colors. Is all of this happening by itself? A tiny seed planted in the ground produces such a massive tree, yet the soil is not depleted. What is it that is being converted into such a huge tree? And that tree runs an entire system. Pollen spreads, generations continue. Are these massive processes happening by themselves? Then the most astonishing of all is the human being. Reflect on yourself. Our heart beats 100,000 times a day. With those 100,000 beats, 10,000 liters of blood travel through our arteries every day. And if all our arteries and veins were connected together, they would measure 100,000 kilometers, enough to circle the earth 2.5 times. The blood traveling through all these vessels via the heart. Is this happening by itself? Then consider our kidneys. Every day they perform dialysis 25 times. It takes thousands of dollars if you do dialysis in a hospital. Kidneys do every day for free, without pain. Dialysis requires time and causes discomfort. Are our kidneys operating by themselves? Can all the creatures of the heavens and the earth together restart kidneys once they fail? Can they restart a heart once it fails? Attempts are made, batteries are implanted, but they say the heart is beating while life has ended. A beating heart alone does not bring life back. Then our lungs breathe in 23,000 times a day and breathe out 23,000 times. The oxygen we inhale is delivered to every cell of the body, and the number of cells in our body is not in the thousands or millions. A human body contains 100 trillion cells. 100 trillion. 1 trillion equals 1,000 billion. To explain this, imagine 30 countries the size of England, all filled with trees, each tree having 10,000 leaves. If all those leaves were counted, the total would be 100 trillion. Oxygen reaches that many cells every day. Each cell is a perfect factory with a power generation plant inside it. It produces its own energy. Oxygen reaches every cell. The blood system reaches every cell. Is this entire complex system operating by itself? All the creatures of the sky and the earth together cannot do this, yet we have the illusion that it all happened by itself. Then reflect on our eyes. Our eyes blink 12,000 times a day. If we rubbed our hands together upside down 12,000 times a day, our skin would peel off. Our eyes are far more delicate, yet there is a liquid between them that prevents friction and pain. If that liquid increases slightly, our eyes start watering unnecessarily. Just as saliva exists in our throat, if it increases, drooling begins. If it decreases, we cannot speak, and our mouth becomes dry. Is this complex system operating by itself? If we had to blink our eyes consciously 12,000 times a day, we would be exhausted. Yet without our intention, all of this is controlled, down to the tiniest detail, by a controlling authority beyond our control. Why do our eyes automatically close when there is danger, darkness, or sudden light? Then reflect on our nails. Nails grow out of flesh. What material exists in flesh that produces nails? Teeth grow out of flesh. Hair grows out of flesh. A person goes mad. How are such complex things emerging from flesh? Nails have to be cut, but teeth do not. They stop growing at a certain length. Who tells the teeth to stop growing? The hair on our head grows, but our eyebrows do not keep growing. Who is controlling this? Is all of this happening by itself? What humans cannot control, how can it be happening by itself? There is no greater foolishness than this. Then the most complex instrument is our brain. Our brain contains 10 billion cells, and there are 100 trillion connections within the brain. The same numerical example I gave about 30 countries like England applies to these connections. In 1 minute, 1 million chain reactions occur in the brain, enabling it to function. If even one of those 100 trillion connections is disturbed, the brain cannot function. Is the brain controlling itself by itself? All the creatures of the heavens and the earth together cannot make a person's brain function once it is damaged. When connections are disturbed, people say there has been bleeding or a blood vessel has ruptured in the brain. These 1 million reactions per minute run the entire system of our body. Our senses of smell, taste, sight, and all other senses are controlled by the brain through these reactions. Then consider human reproduction. From what is a human created? From a drop of semen. In 1 drop of semen, there are 12 million sperm. Each drop has the potential to produce 12 million humans. Out of those 12 million sperm, only 1 is guided. That is an entire story that would take hours to explain. It fertilizes the mother's ovary, pregnancy is established, and a child begins to form. Who guides that 1 sperm? Through what difficult paths does it travel? A person goes mad thinking about it. This video was shown on National Geographic, and people are left astonished. Can all the creatures of the sky and the earth together create a single child? How does such a large human being emerge from a drop of semen? There is nothing in that drop from which an eyeball could form, with a lens behind it. There is nothing in it from which hair-like material could emerge. Yet all these things form in perfect harmony under a complete system. How does this happen? If all creation together cannot do it, how can it happen by itself? That is why one of the finalized laws of biology, the universal law of biology, states, living cells can never be produced from non-living sources. Living cells can never be produced from dead matter. Life always comes from life. All the chemicals in the world combined cannot produce living blood. Blood is transfused because it contains living cells. This law of biology has been finalized. So all the discussions I have presented so far are such that any ordinary human being, whether today or 1,000 years ago, could observe these things and reach the conclusion of a supreme controlling authority. And that authority is Allah, the sole owner and sole creator of this universe, who initiated the chain of prophets, peace be upon them, for his recognition. Through the blessings of the prophets, recognition reached the people. Even if the prophets had not come, there were enough signs within this universe for humans to reach Allah on their own. But that did not happen. Humans, falling prey to their desires, made idols their gods, made trees their gods. Then Allah, for the guidance of humanity, established the chain of prophets everywhere as the final proof. And praise be to Allah, Those who held on to the prophets reached the path of guidance. That is why you see that in every nation where prophets came, the concept of God exists. Look at Christianity, look at Judaism. There is the concept of God there, even if it exists in a distorted or altered form, but they acknowledge it. You can even see it written on the dollar bill. In God we trust. This is the end of today's video. The next part will be released very soon, so stay tuned. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends and family. And if you want Islamic content in your daily life, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Allah Hafiz.